Well, hello fellow classmates. Today I have the pleasure of teaching you all about my personal metabolic cycle, the Cori cycle. Every morning I wake up very thirsty, so I like to start my day off with a tall glass of water, room temperature, because apparently that's better for you than cold water. And it also gets me hydrated for the rest of my day. What? 1 second. What do you mean? It's the Cori cycle. My name's Cori. Well, my assistant just told me that it's not the Cori cycle, but the Cori cycle, spelled C-O-R-I. That seems silly, but we'll go ahead and make this educational. Give me a second. Who spells Cori like that? Seems silly. Let's take a look. Well, apparently the Cori cycle is not named after me, but rather two brothers who founded the Cori cycle, also known as the lactic acid cycle, many years ago. And they're brothers, that's cool. But looking more at the metabolic process of the Cori cycle, it is what we use to get lactic acid out of our muscles. So whenever you do a hard workout, whether you're sprinting or lifting weights, and you're not getting enough oxygen in your body has to freak out and figure out how we're gonna get rid of this lactic acid so we don't get super sore and run out of energy. The way we do this is not the Cori cycle, but the Cori cycle. If we look at this pretty little diagram my friend drew up for me, we can see we have the skeletal muscle over here and the liver on this side, and our bloodstream separating the two. So I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty because it's almost lunch and the actual Cori cycle needs to keep going. But if we look here, we see that glycogen is turned into glucose, which goes through glycolysis, which creates 2 ATP. That keeps going and goes into pyruvate. Now, if we were in aerobic metabolism, that would go right into your cells and you could get all this great ATP, like 30, but we don't have time for that. We're running, we need ATP fast. So instead, that pyruvate turns into lactate, which goes through some crazy stuff. You breathe out CO2, it goes in the bloodstream, boom, we're in the liver. Here in the liver, the lactate turns back into pyruvate, and you actually use some energy, but like, it's a net positive, I guess. You don't get sore, and you get to keep running. So we use 6 ATP, we go through glyconeogenesis, which is a fun way of saying we make more glucose. We make our glucose, the glucose goes zoom back through the blood, back into the skeletal muscle, makes this ATP, and we just keep going through the Cori cycle. So next time you go running, think of me eating my lunch, and I hope you learned a little bit today about the Cori cycle.